are starting now. Sorry, we are running a bit late. We have a slide issue, as you might have noticed. Traveling should be our starting point when we run a hospitality business, but actually any tourism-related business should open our minds, should help us to look beyond, to realize what other people are doing, what other country are doing, what other culture needs and think when they travel, when they live, above all. There are two hospitality-related companies that made this their starting point. They started by asking what hospitality will be in the future and how we can give guests what they really want. Sometimes what they want without knowing they want it or they need it. So I'm very proud to have it here today, these two major word examples of a new modern hospitality business. We'll start with citizenM. So Fabrizio and Martino, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining me today, and apologies for the delay, but I had the brilliant idea of creating my deck on Google Slides, and it turns out that it didn't adapt very well with the technology here, but that's my fault. Well, I'm going to start with a brief introduction of myself, and then we're going to talk about how we approach the innovation at citizenM. Well, I'm Fabrizio. Nice to meet you. I currently work at citizenM, leading the marketing organization, but I had the privilege in the past to work for some of the brands that are leaders in their own category. I'm Italian. Bear with me if I have to speak in English today. But, I currently live between London and Amsterdam, where citizenM is based. Maybe you don't know us, so let me introduce to you citizenM. citizenM was born to create a new category in the hotel space. We wanted to create a product that would be the perfect target for mobile citizens. So we gave to ourselves the name of our target audience. And the idea behind it was to create a product that was luxurious, but also affordable. We also developed a brand with a very strong personality. Sometimes it comes across a bit quirky. Sometimes, sometimes we also like to take a bit of fun of our competitors. But in the end, what we have seen and what we received as a feedback from our guests is that the consistency of our brand and our product is very well, how can I say, implemented across our entire portfolio. Then on the more technical side, the difference between citizenM and many of our competitors is that actually we are an owner and operator of all our properties. So we have a whole team building hotels, and then we have a whole team operating them, and I'm on the third side, which is selling them. I also wanted to showcase to you our first property in Italy, which is in Rome. It's in a beautiful location near Trastevere. And the reason why I put this picture is because I had to explain to my colleagues that because in Italy there is a law, we needed a bidet, so we had to design our product completely differently, just for the Italian market. And then, they found it very funny. But in the end, we ended up with a beautiful bathroom in our hotel in Rome that is not the same size than our entire portfolio. So, as you can imagine, citizenM is a relatively new brand, and because we are owner and operator, we have really the ability to think about innovation and implement it across all our properties. We don't have to convince our owner to do it, or we don't have to convince the team on the ground to execute. We actually have the privilege of having this full control on the entire guest experience. So sometimes we tackle innovation in a very practical way. So we picked up the brightest minds in the organization. We locked them in hotels for 2 days. We gave them a lot of pizza and a lot of beers. And there was nothing left after these 2 days. And we gave them a brief. If the theme is personalization, with the existing technology we have at citizenM, what would you do? So they started this process by creating a persona, Maddie. Maddie is 30ish, and she lives in Texas, and she has all sorts of traits. And what wouldn't be awesome if Maddie would be able to receive a push notification from our app that because she stayed in one of our hotels before, maybe she wants to try it again. So there is a AI engine behind it that analyzes customer behaviors and then is also able then to create a real-time proposal for the guest. And then Maddie decides that actually is a very good idea, and then she accepts the suggestion. So here we are, because at the beginning of this year, we decided to move our PMS to Apaleo. It's all API-based. We can then integrate the chatbot or any sort of interaction directly into a call to the PMS, and in this case, we could create automatically a reservation for Maddie. Now, Maddie is having a chat with one of our ambassadors about recommendations, maybe for places to eat or help with transportation. The app is still prompting to Maddie all sorts of ideas and things that she can then decide to accept, and this gets all automatically embedded in her stay. And then pretty much, where is it? I'm a bit behind. Then she gets some suggestions about how the weather is going to be, or and then whether or not she wants to have the room temperature at a certain level because of her day of arrival. And this is something we can already implement. And then last but not least, if she has any preference in terms of amenities that we can already provide in her room when she arrives. And here we are. We have a happy customer, Maddie, that eventually she has a great experience, and then she would then come back next time. So as I mentioned, the goal for the team was to really look at existing technology and come up with some sort of strategy around that. But that said, we also think that renovation is about the guest, not about the technology. So sometimes we innovate in our space without touching a computer. If I think about innovation in our case, probably one of the best innovation was to be able to create a team in the hotel that would be able to operate completely autonomously with just a few number of people. We are currently operating large hotels with only 5 people on a shift. And this is because the way we created their job, the way we recruit, and the way they've been trained, they are pretty much able to do everything, from a cappuccino to a check-in or a check-out, or a cocktail, or anything else. So now I'm going to share with you some examples of where we also use the latest innovations in a practical way to improve our marketing operation. The first one that I really, really like is the implementation of a very smart chatbot that now is handling all our interactions with Booking.com customers. This chatbot is able to pretty much scan our entire website. So every time we change content on the website in terms of an update in the FAQ, or if we change, let's say, certain rules or we add certain restrictions for a particular hotel, the chatbot updates itself on all those changes. And then it's able to interpret the question straight away and within seconds reply to them. And then it does it at scale and does it for all the languages. So when we launched the new product, I was very curious to see how it would be able to handle requests in Italian. And then these are two examples of how the chatbot interpreted the question straight away and was able to answer with a very, very good language and tone of voice that is also a reflection of our own tone of voice, and provide information straight away. Whereas weeks before that, we would have to have an ambassador to check our website, check if there is any change, and then figure out what to say at that point. And that would take, let's say, 15 to 20 minutes, depending on the complexity of the request. Then we asked the team, how can we leverage the latest AI innovation to improve our marketing operation? And they did a whole workshop with a leading AI company, and then they selected 3 tools to start with. They started with the Perplexity that is able to scan large amount of data in terms of conversations. We can ingest conversation from Reddit or from TripAdvisor or from Google. And out of all the conversation we can ingest, then the machine can give you immediate tips, immediate actions you can already implement to tackle some of the feedbacks. And then what you can do after that is you create topics using another tool called the Collab. So it becomes way more practical, the way you organize the work around all those suggestions. And then what we did, we basically took everything that we created through AI, and then we gave it back to AI, telling to the tool, okay, what are we going to do about it? And the ChatGPT was able to give us a whole plan on how to implement all those suggestions in our operation. So that's a practical example on how you can use these tools and then speed up content generation or implement anything that you think it would be beneficial for your guests. And then last but not least, this is an example of how we are using now AI to improve the turnaround of creatives, especially around campaigns. When we briefed the previous campaign before Spring Sale, that was, I think, Black Friday, we had to write a whole brief. Then we went to an agency, we had to wait a week, and then the agency sent back 3 proposals with the sketches on how this campaign could look like. For Spring Sale instead, we wrote literally in the AI tool, we would like to do a campaign offering free breakfast. And the campaign is for citizenM hotels. And the machine spat out someone sleeping on a croissant, and we really liked it. So then we gave this idea to a graphic designer that then refined the creative, created the assets, and a process that usually took a week, then it took 20 minutes. That's it.
Thanks. I want to say 2 things. First, if you have never been to a citizenM and stayed there, the bathroom picture, it's nothing like a citizenM bathroom. And I had no idea in Rome it looked like that. I should have thought about it. But, well, their usual bathroom are really super cool. So I invite you to go and experience that. And also, I don't know if you perceive it, these hotels are really very special and comforting. And one thing I love is that wherever you book it, New York, London, Central London, Amsterdam, wherever you book it, you know what you're going to find and how you're going to feel. And when you travel often, or even when you treat yourself to just 1 trip per year, knowing what you will feel, it's reassuring and it's a good investment. This is on a traveler point of view. And as an hospitality manager, of course, this is a dream coming true, having the opportunity to think about stuff and then creating them and offering them to your guests, and having the right guests finding you. In this kind of hospitality business, what happens is you don't look for the right guest finds you, and this is amazing, so really, congrats for this. Do you have any question for Fabrizio? Nobody? Then stay with me on the stage. Jan, Jan-Louis Metzmeier. We are going in a different country and place and mindset, but the idea is always the same one. We'll talk more in detail about this, but this is a lab, a proper hospitality lab. So I wish I've already been there in summer, but I couldn't join you, but I'm glad you're here and that you can talk about that more in details.
Great. Thank you for the introduction, Silvia. And yeah, welcome also from my side. I'm very excited to be here today and present to you Moment Berlin Lab, which is one of our latest innovations that we brought up. But in order for you to understand what we actually did, because it is something that hasn't been there before, I'd like to take a step back and start with the idea behind it, because everything starts with an idea, right? So I work for TFE Hotels. So TFE Hotels is a large conglomerate of hotel brands, usually or initially from Australia and Singapore, came to Europe in the early 2000s. And a small project team of TFE Hotels took some time and asked themselves, how do we actually make ourselves future-proof? We all know that the markets that we operate in are quite ever-changing, not just the real estate markets, but also the tourism markets. And how do we make ourselves future-proof for these two markets exactly? Because these are the two markets that affect us the most. So thinking about this, a new brand and a new concept emerged, which is called Moment, also spelled MMNT. It is a hybrid hospitality concept that is exactly developed to tackle these two markets, to, on the one side, deliver on the value expectations of future travelers, so Gen Z and Gen Alpha, the ever growing generations, but also to actually to actually captivate the supply of existing real estate that we have in all our cities. So old retail, old offices, old mixed-use buildings that are underused for, the trends of e-commerce and the trends of home office, etc. So, today I don't want to talk about Moment itself, but I want to talk about the space that we have developed for Moment to bring it on the road before we roll it out commercially. And before I talk much about it, I would like to show you a very quick video here. I think you need to press play.
It triggers curiosity. I mean, I think it feels very inviting. The color theme is very relaxing.
As you go through it, you see that a lot of attention has been given to making the human senses work, which is unique. Great use of space, great use of materials. The 18 square meter is also extremely comfortable. For a long stay, philosophy is brilliant. It's wonderfully done.
I thought the tech was very intuitive. I haven't seen that used before in an apart hotel. This is pure, raw guest feedback. This is going to inform a future hotel product that thousands, if not millions, could be staying in. So to take that data and produce something that is of value and relevant, I think is going to be a really interesting journey. A challenge, but definitely one that will be beneficial at the end.
What I'm most excited about our Moment Lab is it gives us the ability to test and trial everything from materials to technology to layouts to amenities, and then to gather real-time feedback from our guests. It's going to influence our new brands as well as our existing products.
Okay, so the audio was a bit bumpy, but I'll explain again, or that's the idea now. So what we did here was we created the world's first hospitality test lab. So a micro hotel that's always staying in beta mode, that will always be evolving and changing based on the guest feedback. So the people that are actually staying in the rooms. So as you can see here, it's been a process. We've taken an old retail space in the center of Berlin and changed it, reworked it into 6 fully functional rooms between 11 and 25 square meters. It is 270 square meters large. It used to be I don't know how you say it, a bridal shop, so for where you buy the gowns for a wedding. So that tenant moved out, and we decided to use that space as the world's first hospitality test lab. As I said, 6 rooms have been built, 3 little rooms, 2 middle rooms, 1 big room, and a selection of fully functional public areas. And all of the rooms, as I said, are fully functional as well. I would like to just give you a small impression. Very interesting about our little room is we've started at 11 square meters, which is probably as small as it gets. Maybe in London you get a little smaller than that. And what we've tried to experiment with is windowless rooms as well. Because, especially, as I said, we want to work with existing real estate, which is, for example, in offices or retail spaces, very, very deep spaces. So we're trying to make use of that middle strip that would not get any daylight to monetize it with additional rooms, which are in this case windowless, and to understand from our guests themselves, what do they feel like? Is that room too small? Do they need more amenities? Do we need to play with the lighting? Or did we hit it on the spot? Our middle rooms are rather moving towards like a studio category, around 18 to 20 square meters, always having an own kitchen and hosting up to 2 people. Whereas our big room can host up to 4 people at around 25 square meters. We're testing a Murphy bed right here, so a fold-out bed out of the wall to understand whether this actually makes the room a bit more efficient, a bit more spacious, especially when you're traveling alone with 2 people or with 4 people. And as I said, we have a bunch of public areas to understand how people are actually using them. Are people actually sitting down in the co-working space? Are they using the lounge? Are they using the counter? Do they use the self-serve bar and pull themselves a beer or a wine in the evening? Or is that completely unnecessary? And we can save on this in our future products where we'll have 100, 150, maybe 200 rooms. And the very interesting part about our lab here is the testing period that we've done. So in April of this year, we've started a testing period of 10 weeks where we invited people over that we assume to be our future guests to actually evaluate and give us feedback on the product, on the guest journey, and everything that they felt when they stayed with us. So in total for this, we've recruited 1,000 people, almost 1,000, 956 to be exact. So people from who got to know about us through Instagram, through Pinterest, through design blogs, through hospitality blogs, and said, yes, I feel like I'm the right guest. But of course, we also had an imagination of who is our test guest. So we asked them to fill out a small questionnaire to understand who they really are. How often do they travel? Where are they from? Where do they usually stay? And if someone answered, well, usually I stay in Ritz-Carltons of this world, well, you're probably not our right test guest. But if you're staying at a citizenM, you probably could be. So that's how we sort of funneled it down and had 199 people who stayed with us during these 10 weeks. Of course, there were some black sheeps or Prince Harrys amongst them and didn't fill out the feedback and just enjoyed the free test stay. So 144 actually filled out the feedback, which then resulted in 1,255 tasks that have been solved, that are now being analyzed by us and then transferred into points of action, basically. But what were these tasks? The idea was not to give people a questionnaire or some sort of feedback form and ask them to fill it out while they're on their way back to their hometown, sitting on the train, on the plane or whatever, and trying to imagine what was the bed like again? Or did I actually like the tiles? Or what didn't I like? What did I like? So what we did was asking people to give us feedback while they are on site through their mobile phone. So basically, throughout the day, while they were staying, they got like a pop-up notification. Hey, today's your first day. Would you be so kind and answer these questions for us? And these questions would, for example, be something quantitative, as you can see here, on a scale of 1 to 10. How much did you like the check-in process? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you like the lounge, etc., etc. And that's some kind of data that is, of course, quantifiable for us, and we can draw resolutions from that quite easily. But of course, we also wanted to give guests the opportunity to give us qualitative feedback. So, as we can see here, people also did videos while they were on site. So we asked people on their first day, maybe also on their third day of staying with us, to take a video of their room, just talk to like themselves or to their partner, and talk about their feelings, what they think about the room, which gave us the opportunity to see also, did the people arrive with a suitcase? Did they arrive with 2 suitcases? Did they was the wash basin large enough to fit 2 culture bags? And where did they unpack their bags? Do we need additional space for people to unpack their bags? Stuff like that. And then, of course, also people told us, well, I'm in that room. We have actually a video on the right. If you click, yes.
So this is my first...
So this is one of our
We
guests.
just came into the room 2 minutes ago. So this is my video tour. First impression of the room is really nice and calming, cool textural sensations, like aesthetic.
So, yes, exactly. And so basically people told us what they think about the room while they were there, so in that exact moment, and can actually express their emotions of that exact moment, which was very important to us. And then also, people who stayed in room number 4, which is the green room that you can see here, were all given these pictures of their room, and then they had the opportunity to use stickers and apply it to the specific areas of their room and say, well, thumbs up, I really like the wash basin, but thumbs down, the tiles are shit. So that was the idea behind it. And then, of course, this qualitative data allows us to generate sort of heat maps to understand where did people click the most, and did people, when they clicked there, did they put a thumb up, did they put a thumb down, did they give us a heart? And also these feedbacks were then, of course, quantified and then turned into actions. And what was the feedback? So just maybe a very few extract or small extract of what we've been told. As you can see here, some pictures of our guests, some feedback, and one of them said, interesting experience, but not for me. And that is totally fine. We don't want or don't need everyone to like our product. It is tailored to a specific target group, but in the end, it should be flexible enough to fit as many people as possible, of course. So in the end, 88% of people say, yes, I would stay again in a moment and I would pay for it, whilst 12% said, no, not really for me. It's nice, but the entire maybe process didn't suit me. The rooms were too small. I don't like windowless rooms, etc., etc. So for different reasons. And what was also very interesting is that we used a lot of green. Like we used 3 different designers designed 6 different rooms of different sizes with different tiles, different colors, different technical appliances. So no room was like the other. However, the most used word that people used to describe Moment was cozy, which was by accident exactly our goal, but actually sort of gave us a tick behind the box and told us, yes, people actually find that product cozy because we've used high quality materials, because we've used a lot of green, because we've used high quality beds, beddings, linen, towels, etc., which apparently turned out to be very, very reasonable. Additionally, we of course had a tech component. So from booking until checkout, our system is fully digitized. It works without any personal interaction. However, we still decided to have someone on site. Also in our future products, we will always have someone on site, because this is also one of our key insights. People wanted to have someone to talk to, or at least to know that someone is in the building and could be there if something happens, or if I oversleep and need to book a taxi, or. And as you can see here, that quote says, in the beginning, it might be a bit weird to swipe open your doors with your phone, but at second try, it actually gets very intuitive, it gets very normal and becomes second nature. So also people who might not be digital first or a digital native and 18 years of age really turned out to like it very much, because we've had people staying between the age of 18 and 68, and both of them actually, so both sides, liked it very much. Yeah, and was there a favorite room? I think we could say that there were some rooms that were more pleasant than others to our guests, but that was not our goal. Our goal was not to find out, do people like room number 2 more than room number 4? It was more like to understand, do people like the bathroom area of room number 2 more than the bathroom area of room number 4? Was the bed in room number 3 too small for the size of the room, or were the tiles in room number 6 fully unpleasant? So, and then to understand and say, we built our little room based on the bathroom of room number 1, the bed of room number 3, and the tiles of room number 6, and then bring them all together to create the perfect little room, the perfect middle room, and the perfect big room for our future rollout. And now that the testing is over, at least the in-depth testing, we've launched commercially. So we are a normally bookable hotel, so you can book us through our website, you can book us through Airbnb, and stay with us. And of course, while people pay, we don't ask them for specific feedback while they're there, but we're still collecting feedback after their stay to understand, now that we have price-sensitive people staying with us who actually paid 80, 100, 120 euros for their stay, how do they like it? Are they more sensitive to specific things? And do we need to take care of other things that we haven't thought of when we were testing? Yeah, and now that we're basically open commercially, we do have the approval by our test guests that this project is viable, or product is viable, and we know which direction we're going. We're expanding. As we're an Australian company, we're starting in Australia as well as in Europe, in all major cities. We're also trying to get into Italy. So we see it as a city product that is definitely going to start in the large cities of this world, in central to urban locations, and especially in existing real estate that is being revived through underused office spaces or just dying retail. Yeah, and then last but not least, if you are a real estate developer, if you are a private person that likes to travel to Berlin, if you are maybe interested in our next round of test sleeping in the early 2025, or if you're just interested in a moment, here's a link to our website where you'll find all information, our internal booking engine, our development paper, and the sign-ups for our next testing. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. We have like a few more minutes. I wanted to ask to both of you, of course it's in different stages of your existing companies, but what's the trickiest or more surprising negative feedback you experienced, both of you? Because today is still quite extreme, both options, both solutions. So of course, I'm their target. So I can't even think about negative stuff, but I'm sure there are specific negative comment that comes back or that you really didn't expect.
Well, our hypothesis was actually that people who are our target customers would be fine not having someone on site who is a Moment staff and who could support them, because they can do everything they want through their phone. But actually, we turned out to be wrong. So people actually wanted, as I said, someone to be on site, even if they don't want to talk to them, just for the knowledge and and a security in the back of their head that they know someone is there in case of something. I'm not alone, and this is not a ghost house or something, right? And of course, in the lab, it's just 6 rooms, right? It's quite small, so it's quite difficult for us to bring someone on site 24/7. But in our future hotels, this has definitely influenced our decision to have someone on site 24/7.
Okay, thank you. Fabrizio?
Can you hear me? Yeah. Well, first of all, we also have microfeedbacks capabilities on our website where people give us a lot of immediate feedbacks throughout the booking flow. And then we use a lot of these feedbacks together with the guest reviews to try to understand how we can improve the product without deviating too much from our secret sauce. Said that, we created a product that is very, very, how can I say, sleek and modern. And then we tested it at Schiphol Airport with our first hotel, and then we had a very successful product that we decided to scale. And then we scaled in the Netherlands, and then we moved across Europe. And then at some point, we went to the US, and we opened Bowery in New York. And we are selling our small rooms at a crazy price, and it's always fully booked. So we thought, hey, this is perfect. We nailed it. Well, fast forward, last year we opened in Austin, Texas, and I can tell you that the audience we are now getting in the hotel is very unhappy with our product. They don't really like the small room. They don't like there is no parking facility. They don't like there is no concierge, and they don't like the food offering. So, yeah, I think sometimes you have how can I say, the perfect product for your target audience, but then you end up in an area where your target audience doesn't necessarily meet what is available in the market.
So it's the wrong market, not
Yeah, but that, there is no way to tell from the research you do.
And may I ask, what about Rome?
Rome, fortunately, is very, very well received. We have a rooftop terrace in the hotel, only for the guests. But we didn't want to have a fully fledged bar, I think because of permit challenges. So what we did is an automated vending machine where you can tap with your room key and then you can get gin and tonic, a spritz. And then there is all the type of wines as well. And when they told me about that, I said, guys, this is not going to work in Italy. They're going to laugh about it. But actually, I was wrong. Is very successful, and the guests are always giving a very positive review to it.
We had the exact same experience, exact same.
The vending machines,
yes.
Does it work?
Not vending machines, but like self-pouring taps for wine and beer. We thought it was just a funny idea or a good idea to just trial it, but people actually use it a lot and order and order and order.
Well, I have to say, the idea is quite relaxing. I was telling yesterday morning during a session, I'm among people all the time. When I'm in the hotel, I'm in front of people all the time, which is a very different feeling. So when I travel, I like silence, or if I pick noise, I have to pick the right noise. And noise to me means talking to people. So I love citizenM, because, it's my next question. I have a subscription. I have my own door card since ever. I don't know. It's quite old. I have to change it now, by the way. It's a very old one. So I can check in from the subway before actually getting there. I pick my room during the check-in process. And I talk to people only when I wish to. I can enter, go take the elevator, go to my room, go upstairs. And so to me, not talking to people and being able to help myself when I need it, it's the idea of relax. But I know that I also understand why they want someone in there, because at some point you might want to just chat.
In the end, it's about choices. On some evening, you prefer to talk to someone. and someday you woke up at 6 and arrived at 9, and if someone just says a word, you'll explode.
That's me.
So whenever, and that giving people this flexibility to choose whether they want to or not is actually key.
Yeah, and I just wanted to ask you, the subscription, is it working? And what are the issues and what are the, the good surprises you had with it?
Yeah, we wanted to launch a loyalty program for our guests, but we didn't want to do the usual stuff. We didn't want to do the points. And we just took a very different direction. So we created a subscription like Netflix. You pay €12 a month, minimum 12 months. And then in return, you get a 15% discount. The best room with a view, as we call it, for free. Late checkout. And then you get a guaranteed availability. That means if the hotel is fully booked, you will always get a room. And then we launched it with not real expectations on whether or not this would be successful. And now we have 40,000 active members. So we are very happy with it. This year we introduced the co-working. So if you're a member, you can also work from our communal space.
I use it in London at the beginning of the month. So.
Yeah, and then the next step for us is we're going to expand the offering to SMBs. So if you have a company of 5 or a company of 10, you can buy a corporate subscription. So all your employees are citizenM Plus members. If you have a decentralized team, they can all work from all our hotels globally. There are 20 hours a year of meeting space when you want to meet. And then they all get the 15% discount instead of the 10% discount we currently offer to small companies. So, yeah, we are very happy. We think the membership is the future of our growth. And
thank you for that. No, I thought it was like this, but I just wanted to, real, actual point of view. We have 2 more minutes. If somebody has a question for them, is the right moment. Otherwise, I already announced and I switched to Italian. Tra 10 minuti si parlerà di esperienze. Esperienze da 3 punti di vista e 3 approcci completamente diversi. La sessione sarà in italiano e modererà Mirko, che dovrebbe tornare a brevissimo, mentre io l'avevo promesso prima ma non avevo l'orario perché non me lo ricordavo. Vi do appuntamento alle 3 quindi per il training one-to-one in cui vedremo insieme gli strumenti basati sull'AI ma non solo. Grazie a voi due, thank you so much.